Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, it's 𝗙𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗃. Thank you for coming. Well guys, in today's video, this is something that, oh my god, became crazy on the internet. Yeah, but before I even say anything about it, watch this clip, come back, and yeah, let's talk about it.
I'm going to say something controversial, and I don't care because I've been thinking about it a lot. It is better to have a following over a black following. Before I go any further, this does not mean that I do not appreciate the people that support me and love me, okay? That's not what this means. But it is very obvious that black people do not really support black creators. And we wonder why we don't get these huge creators the way that we get these huge creators. And then we complain about it. But we're not supporting each other. And the black creators that do have millions of followers, have a huge fan base, usually have a mixed following. For example, 𝗂𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗃. Believe it or not, 𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗃 has a large community following. Monet, a large following. 𝗀𝗏𝗏, a large following. But what's funny is it's the people and the community that are getting them millions and millions of followers that are boosting their careers. Of course, there are nuances here. It's not black and white, no pun intended, but that's really the gist of things. We don't support as much as people support.
Getting on the internet at your big age to say that you think you need a white audience in order to be successful says so much about you. And I've seen amazing takes from other creators talking about how false this is, how it's perpetuating stereotypes that it shouldn't be. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk to the audience of black women that follow you. Because if I followed you and heard out of your mouth you saying that I am not the audience that you want, baby, that unfollow button would be hit faster than a white woman calling 911 because she sees black people having fun. Like, ma'am, be so for real. A lot of people may not agree with me, but as an influencer, as a content creator, you have a duty to your audience to be full of integrity, to tell the truth, to create content that inspires, motivates, educates on some level. We have that duty to our audience because they in turn help propagate us and help us have a livelihood. So for you to amass this audience of, I'm thinking mostly black women, and then out of the side of your mouth also say you don't want them anymore because now you've reached a certain point and you want to go to the next level is so disrespectful to the women and men of color that follow you. I don't know how you didn't think about that while you were filming that, because I feel like that should have been left in a group chat with your other friends. And let's be brutally honest. I have been dragged on the internet by black women, and I have been pulled out of the depths of hell by black women. Either way, I'm a ride with a black woman till the wheels fall off. It is not the duty of a black woman to help you get to the place you want to get to. It is not our job to get you to 1 million followers. It is not our job to help your ads go viral. That is not our job. Your job is to create great content, foster an audience, and be kind to them. Not to get on here and your content is flopping, and who is the first person you blame? Baby, if you want a white audience, start creating content for that white audience.
The interesting thing about the internet is like everything that you think is a hot take has probably been said before. This is not the first time I've heard this. And I've never really heard a good enough argument to substantiate this claim that black people don't support each other. I've yet to hear a single convincing argument. I wanted to respond to this because this creator mentioned me in this video. I am not making this video to dogpile on her, but I got mentioned, so I do want to respond. I often hear people say that black people don't support each other because we're always bringing each other down and we're always dragging each other. And that is true. Like, I can't say that that's not true. However, if you follow anybody in any marginalized group or minority group, they all experience the same things. When people be saying like, oh, it's only black creators who get dragged by their own, you have not stepped outside of black Twitter if you really, really, truly think that. Some of the people that I follow in other communities, just look at their comments. Like, I'm not gonna name any names, I'm telling you, some of these non-black groups, get their comments, they be coming for they owns next. So we know it's not that. Her basic argument is that it's better for black creators to have white followers than it is to have like a majority following of your own. And the second reason why I don't necessarily think this is true, and this is actually gonna be a hot take in itself, I am what you would consider a mainstream creator, and I have a majority black demographic, but it is mixed. I have Asians who follow me, I have black people who follow me, I have white people who follow me. I make content for literally anybody who likes it, and honestly, I make content for the girls. I'm not here to discriminate or say you're not welcome, but I can adamantly say before I became like mainstream and I would say certain things that were like really prevalent to like being black and like the black experience, it was so much easier to say those things without having to add a bunch of unnecessary disclaimers, without having to like kind of clean it up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? When you're on a mainstream radar, you actually have to be a lot more careful with what you can say, because someone who does not relate to you might be like, hey, well, what did you mean by that? Because I've gotten dragged for some stupid stuff. I was like always fighting for my life because the things that I normally fully related to from other black people were now being picked apart under a microscope, and it did shambles on my mental health. I don't even want to talk about it. My black audience is, and always has been, and always will be, my safe space. Black women come to my meet and greets, black women be in the comments, black people buy my products, black people show up and show out. Yes, the people who are negative and nasty and disgusting and who have said some of the most concerning things about me, sometimes they're also black people, but honestly, they're kind of easy to ignore now. So I'll just be like, okay. The positive noise that comes from having a majority black audience actually by far outweighs the negative. As long as you can just stay focused and like not pay attention to the stupid stuff, girl, ain't nobody worried about that. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not hurtful. Of course it's hurtful, but they ain't doing nothing and I ain't going nowhere. Now this next thing is not to be petty, even though I know it's gonna come off petty. The person who made this video and used me as an example, which a lot of times people tend to do, was not even following me. And it's okay to not follow me, but like why use me as an example about how like we don't be supporting each other and then like not be following me? And also, I know you don't support my content because you didn't say my last name properly. I'm not gonna take off points. I don't technically pronounce my last name in Yoruba the proper way, the way it's supposed to be pronounced. But I am just kind of proving a point. It's like, well, you don't really do yourself any favors, because I do find that sometimes people, you know, kind of use me as like the all-encompassing example of things, and then also don't be supporting me themselves. Any audience is an audience worth being grateful for, but especially a black one, a bliggity black one.
This is just not true. For reference, I have been making online content since I was in college, so the early 2000s, and I started making YouTube videos in 2006, and I started in the natural hair space, and I built my audience via black women. That was who was watching and supporting my natural hair content. That's who was supporting my comedy content. And they continue to support my content to this day. Reality is, if you are struggling to find an audience, black, white, or otherwise, you can't blame the audience. You have to ask, what are you doing to not attract people to your content? What really bothers me about this mindset is this sense of entitlement. Like, well, I'm a black creator, so black people should watch my content. No. What are you doing or saying or creating that anybody, not just black people, anyone wants to watch? And no shade, mama, I looked through your content. You've been making content for like 2 years. Guess what? It takes a long time to build an audience, consistency, and value-based content for anybody to watch. That means I learn something, I get entertained, I'm educated, my mind is blown, I'm surprised, and so far, I don't see any of that in your content, real talk. Being black and a content creator is not enough. It doesn't just automatically gain you an audience. You have to bring something to the table that people want. And I realize that this can be really frustrating for black creators who see white creators blow up off the bare minimum. Welcome to living in a white supremacist society, mama. There are people who are able to succeed off the bare minimum, and black creators, largely speaking, are not able to do that. I've seen a lot of big people fall. I've seen a lot of people blow up out of nowhere. And the thing that remains consistent is good content is good content. And if you want more people to watch your stuff's just gotta be better.
Well, guys, as you've seen in the video, that's a black woman who came on the internet to say that black people don't support themselves and it's better to have a white following than a black following, which I find kind of ironic to me and crazy that This is a person that is supported by black women, black people, and then you have to turn around and say that your people don't support you. Yes, in some instances we do really don't, pull ourselves up. In some instances, yes, we do fight, we have misconceptions about ourselves, we do have these misunderstandings between us. But to come on the internet and bash people that have supported you to reach where you are, I find it more crazy, and it's more crazy that she was giving examples of people that she doesn't even follow herself, but complains on how black people don't support black people. Like how? As a person also that comes on the internet and speak about the things that I speak about, I did not come expecting to have a lot of people connect with me, because of what I speak about. But then it should not be the fault of the audience for not connecting with me. It should be me to figure out the kind of audience that I need. And it looks like this lady wanted a white audience, but to her surprise, she was having a lot of black women, black people support her, which she clearly did not like. And it's really sad. It's absolutely sad, I'm sorry to say. It's also crazy that she couldn't say white audience, but say black audience out proudly and loud, and still say negative things about people that look like her. Is the most wildest thing ever. And yes, everyone would want to have a mixed audience. It's good if you can actually do that, but it should not be something to praise that when you have a white audience, that's when you are doing great, that's when you're doing better. It's these kinds of things that we say about ourselves that make other people also see us as not worth or not worthy, and it's laughable, it's crazy, it's ridiculous. So it really gives a lot of entitlement that because she's a black person, whatever she talks about, people have to connect with her, and it's not how things should be. It's really not okay. Guys, let me know what you think about this. I can't even say more about this, and the entitlement that just because you're black, people should support you should stop. Yeah guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.